All right, welcome to Book by Chat, the only mental model about DM strategies that you will ever need. Now, before we get into the model, I want to give you a little bit of insights, right? And the first thing is, why do we even need the mental model for conversations? And that answer is actually pretty simple. For most people, it's awkward to ask for help. Imagine you are in Tokyo, right? First time in Tokyo, different alphabet. You can read the signs, and you're searching for a specific sushi restaurant. And you're using Google Maps, and it tells you it's supposed to be right here, but you can't find it. So you decide to circle the block, only to come back in the same exact location two times or maybe three times. You're like, I guess Google Maps is wrong. Then a local approaches you and he's like, hey, I see you've been circling the block or you're looking a little bit confused. Can I help you with something? And you are like, yeah, actually, I'm looking for this restaurant. And they point you exactly in where it is. Or maybe they even bring you there, they take you there. You could have asked any local and they would probably have taken you to the sushi restaurant, but you felt some type of way. And your potential clients feel some type of way about reaching out to you or to anyone to ask for help as well. As I said earlier, right, it's a little bit awkward. Maybe you don't know what to say when you want to reach out to someone or when they want to reach out to you. Maybe they are the type of person that doesn't like to ask for help. That applies to me, for example. Or maybe they think, this person is probably busy or they don't work with people like me. So maybe I will even bother them. And so these could all be internal dialogues that could be going on in the mind of your prospect that is preventing them from reaching out. So that is why it's so important to be proactive about starting conversations. And we need a structure because we need to take away most of the mental effort of those conversations and we want to have predictability. Now, there are three really important mindset shifts that you need to make in order to succeed in the DMs. And the first is the barista reframe. Now, imagine walking into a local coffee spot, not one of the big chains, and you come in. The baristas are usually super friendly, or not super friendly, but friendly, really friendly. It's like, hey, welcome to such and such. What can I get you? And they ask you all kinds of questions. They have this big smile. Maybe they ask you like, are you here for work? Or do you live in the neighborhood? Right? And they have a little bit of small talk with you. They ask you what kind of coffee you want, if you want sugar, sweeteners, caramel shot, vanilla shot, hazelnut shot, whatever, right? And so by the end of the conversation, you have a really good feeling about the person. Then you walk out of the coffee shop with exactly the kind of coffee that you wanted. And that is because, in a friendly manner, the barista asked you the right questions to figure out what it is that you will like. And so that's the first thing that we need to understand. We are like that barista, friendly and helpful. The second reframe we need is the doctor reframe. Now, if you were to walk into a doctor's office and before sitting down, the doctor was like, hold up, Ruben, I know what it is. You have this and that, and you need this treatment plan and these medicines. I would freak out. I would be like, you are crazy. And you'd probably have the same thing if a doctor did that to you. As a matter of fact, everyone would have a response like that to a doctor that's that obnoxious. When a doctor diagnoses or prescribes before they diagnose, everyone would label them as crazy. But when we, as professional service providers, right, service business owners, do it, then all of a sudden it's normal. A lot of people I work with, they think it's normal to share a lot of advice, tips, strategies in the DMs. That is literally prescribing before you diagnose. The DMs is not for that. That is when you work together. The DMs are there to diagnose. Is this someone I can help? Is this someone I even want to help? Right? And is this someone who's looking for help? Do they have a problem that I can solve? Stuff like that. That is what we want to find out in the DM conversation. Again, it's not about pushing solutions, strategies, advising too much, sharing too many tips. It's really about diagnosing. So the second thing that's really, really important to remember is you're here to diagnose and to do nothing else. Last thing is the expert reframe. Understand that in the conversations that you have, you are the expert in your field. I mean, this is Martha Stewart, absolute legend in the kitchen. No one would come into her kitchen and say, well, actually, Martha, you need to beat eggs like this, or you need to knead bread like that, right? Ridiculous. She's the expert. She knows exactly how to go about cooking whatever it is that she's cooking at the moment. You need to understand that you have that authority as well in a conversation. You just lose it the moment you are too friendly, too forthcoming, right? Share too many strategies, tips, advice, stuff like that. You really need to own the expert reframe. And the way you do it is by asking the right questions, not being taken off center, not being too enthusiastic. And this arguably is the most important reframe that there is. Because what a lot of experts or people with expertise do wrong is they lower their perceived value, and that's no bueno. So own your expertise. Now, apart from these reframes, there are a few other important things that you need to remember. The first is people are busy. Life happens, and especially when we reach out to them cold, they don't care about us yet. And so we have to accept that it takes a little bit of time to build rapport, to build trust, right? And to get the conversation to a place where we can ask business related questions. We have to earn that. It's not just that everyone can reach out to anyone and have business related conversations. That's why it's important to have a framework, right? You're here to help and to understand, not to sell. We are not solution pushers. We're not pitching anything. We simply have a few questions to see if and how we might potentially help. That's it. Remember that. The goal is not perfection, but progress. You don't need to have the perfect script, the perfect questions, the perfect approach. You will develop all of that with confidence. And so you just progress, just start the conversations. There's really nothing to lose. Most likely, there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of people within your total addressable market, potential clients, nothing to lose. And every day, a few new show up to the party. See yourself as a friendly helper, right? I introduced the three mindset reframes. Don't put on your advisor hat. Don't think, I saw this post, I can share some advice, and you just start blabbing advice. But what will happen, you've probably already seen this, is the conversation just dies, and you're like, oh, did I do something wrong? Yes, you did. Don't go into advisory mode, strategizing mode. Question, asker, friendly helper. Cool. And then last but not least, don't impress, assess. You are the expert. You don't need to impress anyone. You're there, just there to assess if this person is open to help, if they have a problem that you can solve. Now, a question that I always ask here is, why is it that no matter if you go to McDonald's in Tokyo, in I don't know, rural Kenya, Amsterdam, or LA, a Big Mac looks the same, smells the same, and tastes the same? Well, the answer is simple. They follow, right? They have the same buns, the same patties, the same sauce, the same onions, cheddar, and pickles, right? Structure. We also need structure for our conversations, so they are the same always. And when I say the same, it doesn't mean that it's scripted, but at least we know that there's a specific structure that we are following, right? First the bun, then the sauce, and then the patty. The name that I created for the conversational structure that I teach is the 3C's framework. Simply put, there are three phases, distinct phases that you want to take your prospect to. So you want to progress them through the conversation from starting to booking a qualified call alongside these phases. The first C is called the connect phase. The second C is called the converse phase. And the third C is called the convert phase. And convert doesn't mean, oh, now they are a client. Woohoo! It's about moving them to your conversion event. And most likely for you, that is a call. What you need to understand is that a conversation is like a train ride. It's not like a plane, right? A plane takes off in Amsterdam and 7 hours later it lands in New York. There's no stops in between. A conversation isn't like, you don't go from, hey, good to connect, you book a sales call, right? You have stations. It's like a train. That's why I have this ugly train emoji in the top corner. I want you to remember it. And so every phase has stations. I also call them stages, right? So I use them interchangeably. For the connect phase, we have connection opening and press the pane. Connection simply means how do you get your connection request accepted. Opening is about how do you build rapport, how do you get the conversation going, how do you build conversational momentum. And I will break down each of the phases in detail in separate videos. Pressing the pane means that there's a common set of problems in the industry. If you target accountants, for example, freelance accountants, they 80% of them deal with a specific set of problems. Maybe they rely on referrals, maybe it's difficult to find local talent, stuff like that. Pressing the pain means that you ask a question related to that pain to uncover if they are dealing with it. Then we move into business territory, really talking about their business. And the way we do it is after pressing the pain, we simply say, hey, is this something you are potentially looking to get some help with? If they say yes, you move to qualify, where you ask a few strategic questions to work out if and how you can help. Then you get to the convert phase. So you offer the call, schedule the call, exit the conversation. It's literally that simple. There's no pushing involved. There's no pitching involved. We're not showing how good and great we are. We just show that we are here to understand and help. So what I really want you to remember about this 3C's framework is that we have to be a little bit front foot because there are a lot of people that you can help, but they just don't like asking for help and they're not walking outside or they are not showing themselves on LinkedIn like, I need help with this right now, reach out to me. You're a friendly helper, right? See yourself as a barista, doctor, and as the expert. You're not a solution pusher, and always follow the 3C's framework. With that, we came to the end of the 3C's framework. I will see you in the next video where we will talk about the first C, the connect phase.